Hey friends, it's your girl Tess. I know it's been a minute since we last connected, so first, thank you for sticking with me and continuing to support the Living Life with Finesse podcast. I really appreciate you being here as we all try to figure out this messy thing called life, and I really do hope that you're all doing really well. So, today's episode is a little different. It's not our usual vibe, but it is an important one. We're talking about mental health. Just to put things into perspective, mental health challenges are incredibly common. Based on statistics from the National Institute of Mental Health in the US, more than 1 in 5 adults live with a mental illness, and about 1 in 20 experience a serious one. Globally, nearly half of people will deal with some form of mental health disorder in their lifetime. So, if this is something you're going through or someone you love is, you're absolutely not alone. But even with how common it is, there are still a lot of misconceptions, especially around depression. Before I go any further, just a quick disclaimer. I am not a licensed mental health professional. I'm just sharing my perspective and my experiences. So if you feel like you might be dealing with depression or any other mental health concern, please reach out to a qualified professional. So let's talk about depression. Depression is a mood disorder and it shows up in different ways: major depressive disorder, persistent depressive disorder, seasonal depression, postpartum depression, and lots of others, including forms that are actually linked to medical conditions like Parkinson's. And it's not just about feeling sad. It can actually look like anger, numbness, exhaustion, irritability, sometimes all at once. For me personally, I live with what's called high functioning depression. The way I describe it is that depression is my co-pilot. Most days I can show up, handle my responsibilities, and move through life, but sometimes it takes the wheel. And when it does, it can feel overwhelming. One of the biggest misconceptions is that, again, people can just kind of snap out of depression. That's not how it works. Depression isn't something you can just kind of force away. It takes time, care, and often professional support. And this actually brings me to something really important. It's how we show up for people who are dealing with depression. Um, Anecdotally, a few weeks ago, I hit a low point where depression took the wheel. I felt like I needed to step back and be alone. So I asked my friends and family for space. I know isolation might not work for everyone, but it is something that helps me reset. And I was staying in close contact with my therapist at that time as well. Um, some people respected that boundary, and honestly, I can't even tell you how much that meant to me. Others didn't. Two friends actually showed up at my apartment unannounced, and while I truly believe their intentions came from a place of care, the impact was overwhelming. I asked them to leave, they refused. When they threatened to call the police for a wellness check and then followed through despite me asking them not to, it escalated things in a way that became really distressing for me. I have past experiences that actually make interactions with the police triggering. So when the police arrived, my anxiety just shot into overdrive. I went straight into panic mode. I completely froze and I was trying to process what was happening. And it took everything in me just to get through that moment. And afterward, I crashed hard, emotionally, mentally, physically. It pushed me into a deeper place than I had been in before this incident. Even bringing up thoughts that I hadn't been dealing with at all to this point. So I'm sharing this not to blame anyone, but to highlight something important. Even well-intentioned actions can cause harm when they ignore someone's boundaries. You cannot force someone out of depression. In fact, pushing too hard can actually make things worse. So, what can you do if someone you care about is struggling? Well, keep it simple. Low pressure support goes a long way. A quick message like, "Hey, I'm thinking about you," or "I'm here whenever you're ready," can mean everything without feeling overwhelming. And most importantly, respect their pace, not yours, theirs. I know it's hard to watch someone you love struggle. Nobody wants to see that. But support isn't about control, it's about meeting people where they are, listening to them, and showing up in a way that they can actually receive. So, thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me. Mental health isn't easy to talk about, but it does matter. If this helps you better support someone in your life or helps you feel a little bit more seen in your own experience, then thank you so much for listening. And I hope this was worth it. But ultimately, take care of yourselves, be gentle with your minds, and I'll catch up with you in the next episode. Toodles.